One of the big differences between the first term, in the first term, everybody was fighting me. In this term, everybody wants to be my friend. I don't know. My personality changed or something.
Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. The titans of big tech have come to, quote the Game of Thrones, bend the knee. They are taking their private jets to Mar-a-Lago and paying penance for the sins of the past. I'm going to step out on a limb and say President Trump's memory is pretty good when it comes to Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg. Wait a minute, doesn't Bezos own the Washington Post? I bet Trump remembers that. Trump will have a new team, Andrew Ferguson at the FTC, David Sachs as AI and crypto czar, Brendan Carr will chair the FCC. So what does this mean for the big tech titans? How fast can they use their billions to buy some Republican friends? Joining us is the Director of Tech Policy at the Heritage Foundation, Frederick. Welcome, Kara. If you're a big tech billionaire sitting on your yacht right now, what are you most worried about?
I'm most worried about $1 million not being enough to make up for what they did in 2020. You take Mark Zuckerberg, for instance, $419 million to stop Trump. So he's got a long way to go. But what I generally think most of these guys are worried about is that their attempts for regulatory capture in the U.S. tech marketplace is not going to continue working. You look at David Sachs, the new AI czar. He is all about little tech. He is all about new entrants. He is all about competitors. He is not going to allow a handful of big tech companies control the AI marketplace, which is what they want to do with this overburdensome, certification and licensing procedures. And another thing, there are two people's faces on there that we didn't talk about. Gail Slater, she is a nominee for Assistant Attorney General for the Antitrust Division in DOJ. Amazing record in pro-big tech against pro-little tech against big tech in their attempts at censorship, et cetera, concentrating power, which we know is upstream of their ability to censor conservatives. And Mark Meader, another member, a nominee of the FTC, who also has a wonderful record against big tech and pro-little tech, pro-competition. So if I were them, big tech oligarchs, I'd be quaking in their boots because the enforcers are now coming into town.
Kara, my memory is not what it used to be. Doesn't Bezos own the Washington Post? Am I right about that? Or do I have him confused with another bald-headed billionaire?
No, there's only a few of them, but he absolutely does own the Washington Post. And he was behind some of those narratives that emerged during this 2024 election season where he kind of said, hey, guys, maybe we're a little too extreme. Maybe the Taylor Lorenzes of the world who used to be employed there, people like that, maybe they're voicing too much of a partisan opinion, and we should start to speak to all of the people. Again, in my mind, way too little, too late compared to the censorship even Amazon has done in terms of working with pro-CCP propaganda arms. So these guys, in my mind, it's all cover your booty moves, CYA moves, and they need to get serious and pony up a little bit more cash, which we know $1 million for inauguration committees, et cetera. That's chump change to them. So let's get serious, guys, and start thinking a little bit more about raising those numbers if you really mean it.
All right, let's change to AI. Here's one member of Congress on trying to wrestle with artificial intelligence. I'll ask you about it on the other side.
We think it would be foolish to assume that we know enough about AI to pass one big bill next month and be done with the job of AI regulation. We need to divide that job into lots of different bite-sized pieces, and that's what we've done in the report. The report contains over 80 recommendations for future Congresses and over 60 key findings organized into 14 different policy areas. And we hope that this report forms a roadmap for future Congresses.
All right, this is your area of expertise. To me, the private sector moves much more quickly than government, so whatever regulation passes, it may be obsolete by the time it actually comes into law.
This is exactly right. And I have a phrase I peddle on the Hill when I'm talking to Congress members, and I say tech development always outpaces attempts to govern it. So I think maybe they're starting to listen. And especially when it comes to AI, this is moving even faster than I and people in the AI policy and research communities had even envisioned back in 2017, 2018, when we started traipsing around the halls of Congress talking about this. So it is going to move so fast. I think this is really smart. The recommendation that they don't regulate the tools in particular, but start scrutinizing more the use cases, so how these technological tools are used and deployed in the real world, that is a better tack. And I believe that given this report, they are going to hew towards it. Because the second you start putting things like thresholds on compute, we know that the Biden executive order was doing that. That is a slippery slope. That is something that is not going to make what David Sachs like a Second Amendment for compute possible. So let's go with looking at how these technologies are used and not regulating the tools themselves. That is a path that we don't want to go down whatsoever.
I think you are going to be a very busy person over the next 4 years. I think technology is going to move at lightning pace. So I'm glad that I have your email address and cell phone number. I hope you have had a great Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2025.
Merry Christmas, Trey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.